Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we are going to be talking about the best champions to take up to rank 3 as 7 stars in Cosmic class. Right, as always, all of these are extremely dependent on everybody's personal preferences, playstyles, game modes that you value, masteries that you tend to run, and all of the rest of the stuff. As always, therefore, there will be some champions that I do not mention that many of you absolutely love, and there will be some positions that you guys will definitely invert and go to the comment section, and all of that is fine as long as you debate in a good nature. Don't get rude or nasty in the comments, and I'm sure we are gonna get along perfectly fine. So, as always, I kind of narrowed down the list to the 7 champions, but there are a few champions that I did not mention for one reason or another in the actual top 7, but I still want to give a shout out to. Number 1 is going to be Serpent. There are a couple of reasons for that, because Serpent is very new to the game. Fairly few people have him as a 7-star, and quite honestly, I do believe that a lot of his annoyance comes from his Awakened ability, which gives him immortality. And therefore, unawakened Serpent is not necessarily also as high of a caliber rank up option. And therefore, I'm kind of leaving him out for now because, again, not too many people will have him. Even far less people will have him awakened. And another champion that we definitely do need to debate is Maestro. Now, Maestro, I think, is a solid kind of backup option. I do not, however, think he's a great or amazing rank 3 option. I think there's so many Mystic champions that deal with him exceptionally well as Kate Bishop and a handful of others. And I think he's solid. I think he's close to. I think if you don't have any of the champions that I'm going to mention later in their specific awakening states and whatnot, then he's decent. But overall, I think he's far from the scary defensive problem that he used to be initially when he came out, for the most part, because, again, he's kind of been cracked, I think. And the third one is Deathless King Groot, another one that a lot of people will have some people definitely have ranked him up to rank 3 already. Again, I think he's all right as an option. I just think there are better ones that we're going to go and take a look at. Obviously, some of the champions that we'll mention will need to be awakened and so on and so forth. And for instance, if you don't have that champion awakened, then, ranking up Deathless King Groot might be a better option, knowing that you will for sure be able to awaken him if you do the challenges later on in the game. Right. That said, another champion that probably should have been on the list but is not is Vox. And the thing with Vox is, I think he's cool. I think he's good. The problem is I hardly see him anywhere. I tried to use him myself. I have a 6-star rank 5. But you just don't really see him too much in competitive play. At the very least, nowhere near as much as the champions that I'm going to talk about later. So, with that in mind, let's jump to Aunt May. Because as it turns out, pretty much all of the champions we need to discuss are already there as 7 stars. And number 1 is, number 7 is going to be Adam Warlock. Now, he gets spot number 7 because I do think he's a very hit-and-miss type of character with people. If you are enjoying his playstyle, if you like Adam Warlock, go for it. Absolutely. The thing with him is that it definitely also is, affected by AI issues, and AI is being stubborn. Also, your own personal kind of playstyle, because you need to be able to make a lot of very good and precise split-second decisions. When to go in for an intercept, when not to, when dash, when it's just quite tricky. When to activate Relic to save your buffs, or when to do the double, tap on the block, when to enter the stasis pod, so on and so forth. So I think Adam Warlock is a very good option. I think if you like him, if you enjoy him a lot, he's going to be up there as one of the better ones. And if you don't, I don't think you should do it. Because, again, he is finicky. I can openly say he's not my cup of tea type of champion. And I by no means am trying to say that he's bad. I'm just saying he's not going to be for everybody. That said, let's move on to the next spot, and that's the buffed Gladiator. I have been hearing more and more good things about Gladiator. Again, similar to Adam Warlock, his playstyle definitely will not be everybody's cup of tea, but I do think it is easier manageable. You do need to worry about the Intimidate debuff, obviously, whether opponent is going to stay defensive or not. But overall, as much as I have played with him, and that's not a huge amount after his buff, he does seem to be significantly more consistent. And, his damage is also better. So in a pinch, I do think that just like Adam Warlock, both of these champions can be ranked up unawakened as well, if need be, if you do not have any better options. I do think we're going to see a little bit of a glow up. I don't know how much Gladiator is going to enter himself in the metagame. But so far, definitely I have been hearing quite a bit of good things about him. Haven't had the chance, or what's the best way to put it, haven't faced him too much, haven't seen that much of him. But then again, there are some crazy good video clips out there of him on YouTube. Next up, in spot number 5, it's Terrax. Now, Terrax is a champ that I do think you do want to get duped before you take him up to rank 3. But even rank 2 Terrax is like that. He's sneakily good on attack with his, arm break application, guaranteed crit on his heavy attack, obviously the power gain. He can be like a cheeky clutch attacker against like random killmongers and a whole bunch of other champions, which I do like about him. And obviously he is very, very potent defender. Now, one of the downfalls of the Terrax, in my opinion, was kind of like the popularity surge of Absman previously, because obviously Absman absolutely nukes Terrax. However, I have been seeing less and less of Absman around as well, which I do think is going to help Terrax in the future as well. I just don't think Absman at the moment is, aging that well. Like, previously I put him at the top Mystic spot, or one of the top Mystic spots in the game. I just don't think he's there anymore. And that definitely is helping Terrax as well. And overall, yeah, a solid, I think, two-way champion. Obviously, primarily a defender, but also plenty of offensive power in his kit. He has crit resistance. He has block penetration. Obviously, kind of like hard to avoid damage in fights can help tremendously in battlegrounds as well. We do see him commonly as well as an Alliance War defender quite often. So I think there's plenty of value to be found in a rank 3 7-star Terrax. Next up, Hyperion. Now, here is a caveat. I do think, just like Terrax, that you do want to get at least one dupe on Hyperion. In fact, that's all you need. Get your Hyperion duped. If your Hype is duped, I think he's a very, very solid rank up option. I think a lot of people are kind of moving away from him just because he's not like as stable of a defender or as scary in defense as he used to be. But people do underestimate Hyperion offensively always. And that has been story for like 5 or 6 years. And he's always there and he's still hanging in there. Maybe he has taken a little bit of a step back. But I do think that we're actually going to see him make a comeback as well in relatively near future. Because there's no way Kabam is going to be releasing, Hulkling, Galen, Herc, and CGR as 7 stars or all of them. And that will leave a bit more place for Hyperion to shine. And the key about Hyperion is that he's rarely the best option for the fight, but he's often a possible or second or third best option to fight. He can do many more fights that you would give him credit for because he can alternate his playstyles tremendously. If you can't, use your level 1 and 2, level 3s and heavy attack spam is still going to do a ton of damage and all that power gain is crazy. If you need incinerate damage, energy damage, that's fine. Hyperion can do that. If you need to fight against champions that you rather not make contact with, that's also fine because you can just basically spam level 1s the entire fight. If you need access to armor break, you have that. In some longer form content, he obviously benefits from being able to access Fury just about as well as the best champions in the game, has access to regeneration buff. There's just a lot to like about the champion, and I do think, part of the community has kind of already forgotten how good he is. Moving on is Knull. And Knull is one of those champions that is definitely hanging in there. You absolutely would want to get him awakened, ideally, but even unawakened, he can be more annoying than people give him credit for. He does have some clutch matchups. And I personally value Knull very, very highly, especially if you can get him awakened and, get some 6-downs into him. He would potentially be a project that you do need to work on, give the SIGs to, but I think that would be worth it. Obviously, rank 3 7-star Knull would be plenty annoying on defense as well. People have gotten better at fighting him, but there's still, the stall factor in between him being bleed and poison resistant, degen resistant, and also having access to inequity and obviously benefiting from that, reducing the opponent's damage in pretty much many different areas. And you always you often end up taking some chip damage against Knull as well, because you do want to push him to level 2s ideally, so you don't have to try and time your specials and deal with corruption. And obviously offensively, again, he can put in work, especially, also in longer form content. He's one of the kind of like best ramp up champions in the game, definitely in top 10 there, in the max amount of damage output or consistent damage in longer form content. I do think can be significant too. His ability to shut down evades will, always be useful. And I do think Knull is up there. And the best 7-star champion to rank up is Venom, in my opinion. Especially, and the thing about Venom is, I don't think it's that important if he's duped or not. I obviously think it helps, but realistically, his dupe is not that important. I think the most important thing about Venom is whether or not you have a high rank Venom relic, because that makes him significantly better. Rank 3 Venom with like a 5 or a 6-star Venom relic, that's awakened especially, just destroys things. Like he ran through like Nick Fury in like 50 seconds. He's ridiculously fast. Obviously has cool things like armor break on heavy attack, armor up if need be on his buffs as well. That is a bit RNG dependent, but you can reroll with heavies. And access to nullify effectively for a cosmic, that's quite rare. Access to fury buffs and virtually, most typical common type of buffs there are. And Venom has been very, very much so present in the game, in war, in battlegrounds, and pretty much everywhere. And as 7-star with increased stat focus, crit rate, that's just, I think out of all the 7-stars that we have in game, he's definitely the best option. Like if I pulled the 7-star Venom and got, a gem to rank up a cosmic champion, it would go to Venom. At the moment, I don't have a 7-star Venom, so obviously I can't say that. But if I had unawakened Venom and I finished 8.4 and I had the cosmic gem, I'd rank up the Venom. Anyways, those are my thoughts and opinions. Let me know what you guys think, which champions you would consider. I know that there are a handful of others that will definitely say Angela. I definitely know that some people have ranked up Gamora as well. Odin is not a horrible choice for me personally. I love Silver Surfer. So the thing with Cosmic Class, there are a lot of solid champions that are now clear runaway winners. That's why I think this is probably the most personal opinionized list so far. And after this one, we only have the Mystic one left. I will have that up tomorrow, so I'll catch you guys then. Bye-bye. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the